and welcome guys to the Mawejje family. It's your girl Precious. Yes guys, today I have come with another great video. I'm sure you saw from today's title that I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experience in Uganda as a Zimbabwean woman. By the way, as you all know, I'm from Zimbabwe and I got married to my lovely, cute and handsome husband Richards from Uganda. You all know guys, and we are called the Mawejje family. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my experience. It might not be the same with everyone, but I'm going to share with you what I experienced in Uganda, comparing Uganda to Zimbabwe. So before we go into this video, make sure you subscribe, like this video guys. Just press that like button before we go into it. I'm seeing you. If you liked like this video, make sure you subscribe, join the family if you have not yet. If you have already subscribed, we love you. Mwah. We love you so much. Thank you so much for the support guys. We really appreciate. We are growing on this channel. Keep sharing, keep liking, such that we grow as a family. So we are going to go into this video now. I have a couple of points that I'm going to discuss, and it's going to be amazing, by the way. So let's talk about my first experience between not between, by the way, I was used to those fun accents challenge between Uganda and Zimbabwe. This is my experience as a Zimbabwean woman living in Uganda and got married in Uganda. The first thing is the customer service. By the way, I don't know other countries, but Uganda has the best customer service ever. Why am I saying so? One thing is Uganda is competitive. People are in business, people are hustling. It becomes an advantage. I have seen that it becomes an advantage to us customers that we get quality of everything. I was actually shocked when I first started living here. I went to buy potatoes, even Irish potatoes. If you buy Irish potatoes and you ask the owner to peel for you, they will peel for you. I was like, what? If you go buy chicken, you tell them to prepare it for you. They will cut it, kill it, even you pluck all those feathers, everything, remove the intestines and everything, and they give you a ready-made chicken. Can you imagine? If you buy something in Uganda, there is no way, even like a small thing, they'll give you a plastic bag. So comparing my experience in Uganda with Zimbabwe, in Zimbabwe, I've seen, maybe it's lack of competition, I don't know, but in Zimbabwe, compared to Uganda, Zimbabwe, I don't know. I don't want to say this thing in a negative way, because no, I love my country, I love Uganda. I'm just comparing and sharing you guys with my experience. So in Zimbabwe, plastic bag, you can't really get a free plastic bag. Even if you buy many things, sometimes they sell you a plastic bag. They don't give you for free. And the customer service is not that much strong, because maybe lack of competition. You can't buy something in Zimbabwe. You buy your potatoes, you tell them to peel for you for what? You buy your chicken, you tell them to peel for you for what? They will not peel for you. You buy maybe your matoke. Here in Zimbabwe, in Uganda we have matoke. If you buy matoke and you want them to peel for you, they will peel for you. You see. So the customer service is so good compared to Zimbabwe. I hope that point is clear, guys. I hope you're also learning. Now, the other thing is rentals. In Zimbabwe, okay, let me start with Uganda. I was shocked that in Uganda, you can actually stay in a rental for as low as 50,000 Ugandan shillings. I'm not sure how much is that in US dollars. I'm sure it's around maybe $9, $10 there. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure it's there. And the room of 50,000 has in suit sometimes. They can even have a kitchen unit for you and a toilet and a bathroom inside. In Zim, one thing I've realized, rentals, if you go to want to rent a house, most of the times it's plain ground. You go, they tell you the rent is $30 or $50. You pay, you start buying your own things inside. But in Uganda, it's a different case, guys. I saw that, wow. In Uganda, you can get a room. You are renting maybe an apartment of 300,000 Ugandan money. There is everything. There is fitted kitchen units, sinks. They have in sutu. You have a toilet, a shower, everything. There are fitted wardrobes. Can you imagine in a rental room which means you just have to come with your bed and a few things. But the wardrobes, the kitchen unit, the drawers, the insert of the toilets, everything is there. So I saw that is a bit different from Zimbabwe. Most of the times when you're renting, you have to come with your things. You have to buy your kitchen unit. You have to make sure sometimes the toilet is outside. I'm sure there are rentals with Insutu. It depends also with the area, but I'm talking about my experience in Zimbabwe and in Uganda, that most of the rentals I've seen, it's plain ground. You get a room that is empty, you fill it yourself. So let's move to another thing also. In Uganda, I have seen that Uganda has beautiful houses, guys. You can see a house that is so beautiful, but when you enter inside, you might not get the expectation you wanted. I've seen in Uganda, people they put so much effort on the outside of the house, but on the inside it's a bit different. A house can be so good, when you enter inside, you're like, you know, they don't put much effort from the ones I've recognized so far. They don't put much effort on the details of inside, like decorations, you know, those stylish things. They put much effort outside. But in Zim, my experience, if a house is good looking outside, when you enter inside, you drop your saliva, because they put detail from outside. If they want, they also put details inside. But in Uganda, it's a bit different. I've seen that you can see a good house, but inside there's not much detail. They put much of their effort from the outside of the house. That's my observation. Another thing is food. Wow, guys, in terms of food, I've never seen a country with so much food like Uganda. My first days, I used to, I don't know, I could eat. After eating, I vomit because I eat too much. I was not used to that, guys. The way I love food, when I came to Uganda, I was like, my ancestors have had me. I started eating like a crazy person. At the end of eating, I started vomiting because I was mixing a lot. Uganda has food. I will talk about in terms of how they serve in their restaurants. In Uganda, you can go to a restaurant, you tell them you want food, what do you have? They will tell you they have matoke, they have rice, they have posho, that is sadza, they have chicken, a sauce, they have chicken, they have meat, they have fish, they have what, nuts, groundnuts, and you tell them, okay, I want everything. They will give you in one plate. I've realized in Uganda, in one plate, you can get carbohydrates, vitamins, fiber, protein, in one plate. They can give you everything, even fruits there they can put. But in Zim, it's a bit different. When you go to a restaurant, when you want something, by the way, you actually go when you know what you want to eat. You just reach there, I want rice and chicken. They serve you that. Once you start mentioning other things out of rice and chicken, that's another money you're eating. But in Uganda, they're saying a plate is 14,000 or 12,000 Ugandan money, Ugandan shillings, and you tell them I want everything, they'll make sure that that plate comes with everything they have, and you still pay 14,000. But in Zim, it's a bit different. If you want sadza and beef, they put sadza and beef for you, you pay. If you start saying add rice, add potatoes, add what, that's another money, you see. That's one thing I have observed in between the two countries on my experience. And another thing, in Uganda, there is so much food to the extent that people don't normally stock things. Like you go buy tomatoes in bulk, you stock them, onions in bulk, fresh things. There is fresh food in Uganda. As long as you have your money, you can get fresh things every day. Chicken, you can get fresh, where they're actually cutting for you fresh chicken. Beef, everything, you get fresh things. So in Uganda, there's so much food that you can get fresh things. But in Zimbabwe, most of the times, even to my family, we buy things in bulk. You buy things for the whole month, by the way. You buy things for the whole month, you stock things. In Uganda, from the people I've seen so far, people don't stock food inside because you can get it whenever you want it and it's always available and fresh. In Zimbabwe, people freeze a lot. I know from my family, my mother used to, when you buy meat from town, we cut, we pack, we put in the fridge. We know that maybe for this month we are covered. There's no way you can just say, I'll buy meat every day. You know, fresh meat. Maybe there is somewhere they are cutting chicken every day. No. You can actually buy chicken that is freezed from butcheries and all sorts of that. So that's another experience I have experienced. Yes, guys. So another point, another experience I experienced in Uganda as a Zimbabwean woman is on in-laws expectation. The truth is, I was shocked. I'm talking about my experience. Maybe it's different from someone who is also married in Uganda coming from Zimbabwe. But in Zim, I grew up hearing, and it's still happening, when you get married, when you visit your in-laws, there's an expectation, and people, I think they exaggerate that thing, guys, that the Murora, that is the Mugole, in Uganda they call it Mugole, or daughter-in-law, you are expected to do a lot of things. You have to clean, cook for the whole family, everything, to prove that you are the makoti of the family. But when I came to Uganda, when I visited my in-laws, my mother-in-law actually didn't want me to do anything. No, you're my guest, my daughter. You know, I'm married to a last-born. My last-born, you see. She was even pampering me. Don't do anything. Forcing me not to do anything. If I want to do this, no. You're a guest. Let us treat you. She's a wonderful woman. So I was like, in Zim, you're actually expected to do a lot. But from my experience, from my mother-in-law, she didn't want me to do anything. She was treating me like, you know, that special guest, you know, so happy that the son got married, you know, that she now has a daughter-in-law, something like that. That was one of my experiences I noticed. Then another thing is on being social. Uganda has very social people. They are very nice, very good. With the same with Zim, they also have social people. In Uganda, you can sit somewhere and you start a conversation with someone. You can actually talk with someone you don't know. In Zimbabwe, it's the same. But nowadays, it's different in Zim. People are no longer wanting to become more social with people they don't know. In Zim, you can't just sit nowadays and start a conversation with a stranger because of things that are happening. In Zimbabwe, there are a lot of thieves, robbers, people are crooking, people everywhere. So people have the mentality now of fearing that someone can greet you and start wanting to start a conversation and you switch off already. You're like, no, I'm moving out, you see. Not because they are bad, maybe they're actually having good intention just to talk, but because of the experiences. A lot of things has been happening in Zim, a lot of thieves, they steal for you, some are using those kind of things, you see. But in Uganda, you can actually sit somewhere, you talk with someone you don't know. Right away you talk, you click, you conversate, and nothing happens sometimes. But in Zim, it was there, but now people are a bit cautious of the things that are happening. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about, Uganda has the best bread ever. Guys, I don't know in this whole world if there is a country with the best bread like Uganda. The first time I tasted the bread of Uganda, I was like, is this a cake? Is this what? All the companies that produces bread in Uganda, they are so good. Their bread, you can actually eat it without anything. Compared to Zimbabwe, my experience with Zimbabwe has good bread. But for me, in Zimbabwe, you can't eat bread without putting peanut butter, or without putting margarine, or without putting eggs or jam. That's the truth, for my experience. I don't know others, it might be different. But Zimbabwean bread, I can't eat it without putting anything or eating it with anything. But in Uganda, wow. I believe people who visit Uganda, they actually take some bread home. Trust me, the bread of Uganda is the best. The best bread ever. I give them there. They're the best. Now, I'm going to talk about the weather. Uganda has the best weather ever. That's my experience as a Zimbabwean woman. Uganda is the best weather. It's because Uganda, for those who don't know, is divided by equator. So Uganda is neither hot nor cold. It is moderate throughout the whole year. So you can't find someone in Uganda saying we are in June, we are in coldness, we are in what? No, there's nothing like that. The weather is just moderate throughout the whole year. Yes, it can be hot, but not as much as what happens in Zim. In Zim, if it decides to be hot, it's hot for sure. If it decides to rain, it rains for sure. If it decides to get cold, it gets cold for sure. That sometimes you can wake up when the lawn is full of ice. So the weather of Uganda is so perfect. And it's rare actually to find people wearing bomber jackets in Uganda. That's saying it's cold, that now I'm wearing a bomber jacket. No, there's nothing like. Actually, when I came to, I'm over a year now in Uganda. I mean, going to 1 year. But I've never worn a jacket since I came here. That's how good the weather of Uganda is. Now we are about to conclude, guys. I'm going to talk about hustling. People in Uganda hustle. It's rare to find someone seated at home and they're not doing anything. That's the truth. Youths, they hustle. You see people selling in the street. You see people cooking and everything. People do that. It's rare to find someone seated at home in Uganda and tell you that I don't have a job. I'm not working yet. But in Zimbabwe, people hustle. But also, it's very normal to find someone, a 15-year-old, a 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 25, seated at home at their parents' house. You ask them why are they not doing anything. They tell you, I've been looking for a job, but the jobs are scarce. It's very rare. But in Uganda, someone may not have a job, but they can start frying groundnuts and start selling. They can start cooking something and start selling. That's how different it is. And also, another experience I experienced in Uganda, business usually starts in the evening, mostly for street foods and everything. It usually starts in the evening. You find out that people start cooking and selling. Their business starts around 5-6 p.m. there. That's when you can get things, a lot of things, mostly from the streets and from markets. But in Zimbabwe, business starts in the morning and ends around 4, 5, 6 p.m. there, 7 p.m. in some circumstances. You see, but Uganda, even at 11 p.m. you can see a shop open. 12 p.m. you can see a shop open. You can see people. Hey, I tell you, Ugandans are hustlers. And their business time is a bit different from Zimbabwe, the way I experienced it. So guys, I'm sure those are the things. Let me see if I left any point that I wanted to talk about on my experience. Okay. And the other thing, in Uganda, they have specific names for twins. I was actually shocked because in Zim, you can give birth to twins and you name them Blessing and Bright, this and this, you see. But in Uganda, they have specific names. You can name your child anyhow, but people use, if you have twins, 2 girls, they are named Nakato and Babiri. You see, Nakato and Babiri, yes, Babiri. Those are the 2 names. So if you have twins, everyone will call them Nakato and Babiri. If you have a boy and a girl, they call them either Waswa and Babiri or Nakato and Waswa, something like that. So those are the normal names that people call them. They can have their other names, but people don't call them with that most of the times. They use those names. Those are the names for twins. Anyone who gives birth to twins, those are the names. And in Uganda, I've seen that they value people with twins. I don't know. It's so good. And they actually have special names for them. If you're a woman, you have twins, they call you Nalongo. If you're a man and you have twins, they call you Salongo. So that's how special twins are in Uganda. And lastly, it's wedding preparation. I've seen that in Uganda, guys. I was actually shocked asking my husband, you mean you can have a wedding and you plan with people? People literally contribute for your whole wedding. People, when they want to wed, they create groups. People start contributing for the wedding. So you can actually do a wedding from people's contributions, relatives, friends, and everything. But in Uganda, I believe people contribute, but not in the essence of like someone is not putting anything. People in Zimbabwe, they can actually plan their own weddings. People just add, bring gifts and what, but they don't normally depend on people's contributions. But here in Uganda, people can actually contribute for your whole wedding. That's how the difference that I have seen. So guys, those were the experiences I had for you. Comment below. Maybe in your country also is similar. The experiences in your country and in Uganda or in Zimbabwe. Comment below, guys. Thank you so much for watching this far. We love you so much. Thank you for your support, and we are really growing. Don't forget to like, subscribe. See you in our next lit video. We love you. Mwah.